Jersey has become the first place in Britain to completely outlaw smacking. In their words, violence breeds violence. And this is something you feel really strongly about, don't you, Nadia?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up being smacked in the way that 70s kids were. My mum smacked me, she'd been smacked, and it was just normal, you know, and she gave me those normal bum. And all that I ever felt when my mum smacked me was resentment. I never felt like I'd done something wrong, and I just felt resentment and really angry towards my mum.
Didn't hurt?
Didn't hurt. Yeah, no, and for me, it didn't work. And I think when we think about everything else that we do around our children to inspire them, so I try and eat well, I try not to swear, I try to do all these other things.
How's all that working out? Regularly.
So my children don't copy me because I want to be the best role model for them, especially bringing up girls. And so I also want to show them that when I'm frustrated, when I'm angry, when I can't get my point across, I'm not going to hit someone. I'm going to try a different way, and then a different way, and then a different way, and a different way. Because to me, I feel very strongly that when an adult hits a child, it's a bigger person hitting a smaller person, and it always really, really upsets me if I see a child being smacked. So I am for a law against it.
Define smacking, though.
Yeah, that's
when you
exactly
say hitting or
say.
smacking, what are we talking about?
You know, don't.
I mean, I have never done that to my child. I wouldn't even like to do that to my child, because if you say something now I don't like, and I go like that, you don't like it. You don't like it because it keeps you quiet. So I don't believe in any kind of, because I wouldn't do that to somebody of the same size as me.
So I wasn't smacked and I don't smack, but my problem with smacking law is where is the line drawn?
Yeah.
So for me, people who are going to be physically abusive to their children, they're going to do that whether there's an anti-smacking law or not, because it's about their loss of control. It's about their anger issues.
Well, I would say all smacking is physically abusive.
It just drives it underground, and they'll be doing it behind their own closed doors. Because I think, actually, in this day and age now, society is a law in itself. If we saw somebody in the supermarket or wherever, you know, where they're really bashing a kid, I'd say something. And I think society now... So I worry about laws, because where does it come in? If you see somebody does... Sorry, Stace. If somebody does that in the supermarket and smacking is against the law, does that mean that you've just broken the law?
Well, I would say, for me, you've just proved my point, which is a lot of people don't know what those lines are. What one person's...
But I don't know that the law will define that.
Acceptable. No, but if you say no violence towards a child is acceptable, then it's clear.
But I think, can I just interject here? Because you're talking about where, you know, what the law finds acceptable and this sort of stuff. It's basically it's saying that it's against the law for a parent or carer to smack their child, except where this amounts to reasonable punishment. You're already in a massive grey area.
One person's reason.
I agree that one person's reason is another person's whatever, but you've got great, you know, your children, listen to what you say, seem like really lovely, nice, I want to say easy children, but
I've never smacked them, maybe that's why.
I was smacked, and when I say smacked, I mean smack, like I wasn't whacked, but I was smacked, and it wasn't... I remember who I was as a teenager, Nadia. I remember the type of child I was.
I was the same, but we were both smacked. That's my point.
But no. I wasn't the way I was because I was smacked. I was smacked because I was the way that I was.
I don't agree.
It wasn't a smack that I would consider as violence. It was I am so frustrated and I have come to the end of my tether and I don't know what to do and I've lost control. And I think
that's the point. You've lost control.
Do lose control. In an ideal world...
But it's better to have the law that says when you lose control, find a better way than meting out violence.
What I'm trying to say is there's that tap might be... That might just be it. That might just be what some people do, and it's not...
With a law, aren't you demonising the parents that are, you know, at the end of their tether and wouldn't normally do something like that, whilst meanwhile the ones that you're actually targeting are doing it behind closed doors and,
I think it's
fine.
I think it's fine. I mean,
I would never smack my children
really strongly about
I feel
violence.
guilty about it, and I get where you're coming from, and that makes sense to me. However, I do think that it's hard to expect all parents to never lose it, because there are some situations when you just cannot control.
We asked you at home, does smacking a child lead to them becoming violent? And 81% said no. Helen said, I was smacked as a child, still remember feeling humiliated by it. I never smacked mine because I knew how it felt. Certainly didn't make me a violent person. And Linda says there's a fine line between a smack in the hand and being beaten up, but there isn't enough discipline nowadays.
All you need is a look.